Good evening, everyone. Ms. Kazmark, call the meeting to order, please.
Mayor, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for November 30th, 2016 to order at 8:01 p.m. On roll call, council members Caramagna,
Here.
Churdo,
Here.
Dombrowski,
Here.
Giandomenico,
Here.
Bonsino,
Here.
Mayor Coletti.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Would everybody please rise for our prayer and flag salute? Oh God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting, which we entrust to you fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearers and implant therein a keen sense of justice and a greater love for you and our neighbors. Guide us in our deliverance so that our decisions will always please you and bring you peace and happiness to our community. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right.
Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey require at commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now, therefore, be advised that the meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing a revised meeting notice in the record in Herald News of Woodland Park, and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk, as well as in a public place within the municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on November 14th, 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to remind you that these meetings are being videotaped and will be on Cablevision, Channel 77 on Tuesday, 12 p.m., Thursday at 4 p.m., and Friday at 10 a.m. The video is also available on the Borough website at www.elmwoodparknj.us.
Mayor, this evening, under the approval of minutes, we have the November 10th, 2016 executive session.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Vancino and Caramagna?
On roll call, council members Caramagna,
Yes.
Churdo,
I was not here at that meeting.
abstention. Dombrowski,
Yes.
Giandomenico.
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening, under resolutions, we have Resolution R 399-16, a resolution to fill the council vacancy. Whereas on November 10th, 2016, Councilman Robert Coletti was appointed mayor, creating a vacancy in the council seat. And whereas the Elmwood Park Republican Municipal Committee submitted 3 nominees to fill the vacancy on the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council on November 22nd, 2016, which fell within the 15-day period in which nominations must be made to the municipal clerk as prescribed by NJSA 40:16-11. Whereas the 3 Republican nominees are Miles Garvey, William Meneely, and Sammy Keith Work, Jr. Now therefore be it resolved that the council does hereby select, and at this time, Mayor will need a nomination from the council to fill the vacancy.
Council, may I have a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Sammy Keithwork Jr.
I'll second.
Second by Maddie.
Now therefore be it resolved that the council does hereby select Sammy Keith Work, Jr. to fill the council vacancy commencing immediately and serving through December 31st, 2017. We have a motion from Councilman Churdo and a second from Councilwoman Giandomenico. Mayor, I don't know if you'd like to open up for discussion?
Yes, any discussion on the matter?
Yes, Mayor. The process that we followed was similar to the appointment of the interim mayor, where the county committee was to provide 3 candidates for consideration to the council. And our county committee went through that process and provided 3 names for our consideration, along with resumes. And then the majority went and performed an interview process for each of the candidates. And all the candidates invoked a very interesting discussion. We talked about why they wanted to be on the council, their vision for the borough. So all 3 were excellent candidates. In the end, we selected former Councilman Keith Work, and we're going to welcome him up to the stay as tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Kazma, you want to call the roll, please?
On roll call, Councilmembers Churdo,
Yes.
Katamanya,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Domenico,
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Motion carries. This time, I'd ask Councilman-select Work and his wife to come up to be installed to fill the council vacancy by Mayor Coletti.
So, Keith, this is your second time being sworn in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, this is my first time, so. You repeat after me?
Right hand up. Right hand up.
You'll repeat after me? I, and state your name,
There you go.
I, Sammy Keith Work, Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
that I will bear true faith
I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government established
and to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people.
and that I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office of
all the duties of the office of
councilman,
councilman,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Don't leave. I thought you were going home already.
Not running away yet. Shortly.
I get one?
Sign you two guys. One here for
That's a box of 4.
Mr. Kesmark?
Mayor, we'll move on to ordinances. On first reading this evening, we have ordinance 400, Resolution 400-16, introduce ordinance 16-22 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled "An Ordinance to Fix the Salary, Wage, and Compensation of the Officers, Employees, and Servants of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, for calendar year 2016 be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, December 15th, 2016, at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be, and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law. Mayor will need a motion to introduce.
Ladies and gentlemen, a motion, please.
So moved.
Caramagna?
Second.
Churdo? All in favor?
Aye.
We'll need a roll call.
Oh.
On roll call, council members Churdo,
Yes.
Katamanya,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Jan Domenico.
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Work.
Abstain.
Motion carries. Mayor, also this evening on first reading, we have Resolution 401-16, introduce ordinance 16-23 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance to Amend the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, Chapter 3 thereof, entitled Police Regulations," be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, December 15th, 2016, at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be, and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper, a notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law. Need a motion to introduce.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Second.
And Madalena? Any discussion?
Mayor, through you, this is an ordinance that will address the noise violations that some of our residents here in Elmwood Park have experienced coming over from Eastside Park and Patterson. We had a meeting with Mr. Giblin, myself, Chief Foligno, and our borough prosecutor, and through the efforts of all of those individuals, we were able to tighten up this ordinance so that we would be able to hear these types of matters in our municipal court because they are in fact affecting the residents of Elmwood Park.
Thank you. Any discussion on the matter?
Mayor, I would just like to mention that after our meeting with Mayor Torres and at the time, City Manager Nellie Poe, we have had a few instances where there has been some music, and with the cooperation of our police and their police, they've been able to get it turned down quickly. It's not an overnight fix. This ordinance is being put into place to help us enforce it even further. So please understand that we are continually working on this issue. We understand that it's going to continue to happen a couple of times, but after they get summons and have to come to Elmwood Park Court possibly, I think you'll see it curb down pretty quickly. But it will not be an overnight fix, but I will say that the music has been turned down rather quickly after it's been reported.
Anyone else care to discuss the matter? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Churdo,
Yes.
Catamagna,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Giandomenico.
Yes.
Bonsino. Yes. Work.
Abstain.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening, under the consent agenda, we have Resolution 402-16, payment of bills, 403-16, payment of escrow, 404-16, confirmation of payroll, 405-16, authorized current estimate number 1, 2016 road program, Resolution 406-16, authorized change order number 1 and current estimate number 2 and final 2015 road program, Resolution 407-16, authorized current estimate number 2, pump station number 6 improvements, Resolution 408-16, authorized execution of risk management agreement for 2017 Professional Insurance Associates, Inc., Resolution 409-16, resolution authorizing the person-to-person transfer of liquor license 0211-44-006-010, Resolution 410-16, authorized refunds in the Recreation Department, Resolution 411-16, authorized transfer of funds, Resolution 412-16, authorized execution of rental agreement for camera system Goostown Communications, Resolution 413-16, resolution to approve the consent agenda. Mayor, I believe there's a desire amongst the council to pull Resolution 412-16 and hold that over for further discussion at next week's work session. So if you wanted to take a motion absent that resolution number, we could approve the consent agenda without that resolution.
Are we tabling it?
I wouldn't table it, I would just pull it off the consent agenda, and then it wouldn't be approved, and it would be able to be carried till next Thursday's
Okay,
meeting.
a motion to remove?
So moved.
Second.
Dombrowski and Churdo? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we have a resolution on the consent agenda, absent Resolution 412-16, which is the Goostown Communications contract. Any further discussion, Mayor?
Any discussion on the matter? No. Call the roll?
Roll call to adopt the consent agenda. Council members Catamagna,
Yes.
Churdo,
Yes.
Dombrowski.
Yes.
Giandomenico.
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Work.
Abstain.
Motion carries. And then finally, Mayor, we have application for the St. Leo's RC Church 50/50 raffle.
Motion to accept?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. So passed.
And that concludes my portion of the agenda, Mayor.
All right, that brings us to council reports. We'll start with the young lady on extreme right, Madalena.
So the report I really have upcoming is, other than continuously we check our finances and we're doing well with the transfers that we've made and staying up to date within our cap percentage requirements. And also our Christmas tree lighting is this Friday at 6:30 at the rec center.
Mr. Dombrowski? Sure.
Thank you. On the Health Department report, I would like to remind everybody that within the next week, you should be receiving in the mail the renewal for your dogs and cat licenses. This year, the fees will be $10 if your animal is neutered, $13 if it is not, and they must be returned with the rabies certificate before January 31st. Anytime after January 31st, there will be a $20 per animal late fee charged to it. So please, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as you get it, fill it out, bring it in, and get your license. Don't wait till the last minute, please. Also tonight, if anybody was watching Channel 7 News at around 5:58 this evening, there was a nice little story on two boys that are here in town, Jason and Justin Leader, whereas these are two young men in town that have Hunter syndrome. And there's a nursery in Fair Lawn, New Jersey called American Nursery that is selling Christmas trees. And if you go in there, the owner, Gary Sandberg, is donating 10% of all proceeds to the Jason and Justin Foundation. It was a very nice piece that was done on the boys. It brings awareness to their situation. It brings an awareness to what Hunter syndrome really is. And I think it's a very nice gesture, and I do know that this year our fire department is taking a year off from selling Christmas trees. So if anybody is out there looking for a real Christmas tree, please go to American Nursery. They're located at 5-16 Saddle River Road in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. The phone number is 201-794-0550, and the owner's name is Gary Sandberg. And just mention Jason and Justin, and there will be a 10% of the purchase donated back to the kids. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Dombrowski. Mr. Vansino?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Earlier, I talked a little bit about the process of filling a vacancy on the council. I think we went through that process 3 times this year. We haven't been through that process, I guess, in my tenure until this year. But what's important to note is the business of running the borough continued through some of the absences and vacancies, and we're back to a full complement up here on the dais, and it's good to have a full complement up here. Last week, the beginning of the week, I attended the library board meeting, and it was a very good meeting. As I reported, last public meeting, we had a joint meeting with the governing body. We had a very good meeting, kind of looked at what the priorities were, and it appears at this last meeting that we want to kind of continue that momentum. There's a desire of the library board to work with the governing body, so I think we have a path forward to maybe start moving this project forward in a positive note. We did spend a lot of time talking about a 3D printer, and I guess kind of we just want to step back and not kind of sweat the small stuff and make sure we get the big stuff right. And a 3D printer will fit in there nicely once we get the big stuff done. And with that, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vansino. Mr. Caramani?
Yes, thank you. First of all, congratulations, Keith. Welcome back. It'll be a pleasure to work with you. We only have 1 month together. I want to announce a congratulations to the Republican Party because finally this was much better organized than last time.
We're getting better at it, Frank.
I guess you guys learning. Because really, we have 3 good names to choose from. People that we know, people who work very hard in town, really, and if you didn't make it, guys, that's okay. You deserve your name to be there. Homeowner will have a Christmas party December 7th at Francesco Restaurants. Homeowner invites everyone, the Democrats, Republican, Independent, any other party, they could come to the meeting. This would be a celebration that all of us can enjoy. So please join us. We're not going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about food and for Christmas holidays. If you interested, come and call Linda Colombini. I have a phone number here, 201-982-4919. You only have another day to call. We have to give a count by tomorrow. So if you want to join us, we'd be more than happy, everybody. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Caramagna. Mr. Churdo?
Keith, congratulations. I look forward to working with you and learning from you. In the world of the Department of Public Works, the Mother Nature is not helping in regards to leaf pickup. So please, if you're in the districts where the rain is occurring, or your pickup is in the districts where the rain has occurred yesterday and today, if you can, please be patient as we are trying to reschedule those missed sections so that we can adequately address the concerns of leaf pickup. DPW, though, has been busy. A couple of trees they were able to address, as well as taking down, working with the rec department to take down some of the equipment at Cherry Hill to get it ready for the new equipment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Churdo. Mr. Work?
Well, I'd like to thank you. It's an honor being up here. It really is, being up here for the second time. I like to accomplish a few more things that I started when I was on council before. But it's an honor to work with all these gentlemen here. You know, I'm actually a rookie again, so I got to learn my step to step. But it really is. It's an honor being up here. I want to thank the members for the support for both the Republican Party and the council members. Like Frank said, it was a tough choice. There was a lot of three. Actually, you know, went from 5 to 3, and each member or citizen that was chosen were outstanding citizens. They all donated a lot of time to this town. So there was a lot of, it was a tough choice. It was a tough choice. And like I said, honored to be chosen. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the upcoming year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Work. I want to also congratulate you. I've worked with you in the past, and I think you bring a lot to this council. And I know you will going forward, and as far as you being a rookie, that is far from the case. We would all like to thank our ambulance corps, police department, fire department for their presence at Mayor Mola's wake and funeral. Many of them had to take off of work on their own dime to give our mayor a fitting send-off. Our fire department had a slow month, thank God. There was a small fire at Marcal's, a hydraulic line field, and was quickly extinguished. Nobody got hurt. JIF, our Joint Insurance Fund, had a meeting on November 22nd, which I attended. Nothing new to report. The ship is running smooth there. And a few notes from the rec department. Annual tree lighting, I'll just reinforce what Maggie had said prior, will take place on December 2nd at 6:30 p.m. at the rec building. The tree will be indoors this year. Santa will arrive for photos. The children can once again enjoy ice skating inside. That's pretty remarkable. Crafts will be available, as will hot chocolate and cookies. Cherry Hill Park, the new playground equipment has been installed. We are still waiting for the flooring and the fencing. And Mr. Kaczmarek, that concludes my report.
Mayor, at this time, we'll open the meeting to the public.
Motion to open the meeting to the public.
So moved.
Second.
Churdo and Maggie, all in favor?
Aye.
May I please caution the public, I ask the audience to please direct your questions to me. Does anybody care to speak? You know the rules.
2.5 minutes.
Just want you guys to know, before I state my name, when George walked in, I let him know about the Tom Conboy ordinance of only 10 minutes. He said, what? But y'all let me sure if he speaks, you'll let
No,
know.
Tom, I believe it's 15.
Tom, oh, is it 15?
Yeah.
Thanks, you've extended it.
No, it's 5.
You are. No do-overs, no do-overs.
She said seconds, she said seconds.
Let me get my foot out
We're
of
going to give you 5 minutes at George's
Well,
time.
again, I didn't announce where my address is yet or my name, so I was just doing the guys.
So it hasn't started yet.
And Tom Conboy, 135 Dwell Avenue. Just briefly, Mr. Mayor, I just want to again comment on, I really hope the residents of Elmwood Park take a real strong look at what a county committee member does for this municipal government, what our government, how it can dictate our government. Once again, we've seen an example of, when we had this issue come up 2 weeks ago or so, you had Mayor Coletti on the list, and two other folks who is nowhere any great people. I know them both, but not been at work meetings, not a former councilman, no knowledge you could be on the ground, up and running right away, right? Now here we are, you listed the 3 names, all 3 awesome candidates, right? It's not about the candidates, any one of them. I know all 3 men, as we all do, but you have to look at it and say to yourself too, what happened to the other 2 fine men who were mayor material that didn't make the final cut, or even one of the 2 recent gentlemen who ran for council? But that's just my comment. It's not, thank you for letting me say that comment. I just hope in June, when county committee members are voted for, the people of the Republicans and the Democrats on both sides look to see who these people are, and if you even know who these people are, because God knows a lot of us don't even know who some of those people are. So anyway, on that front, I just want to move over to the rec for a second. So I did not get a chance to make the rec meeting, but I received several phone calls. Mayor Coletti, you were there, so you can fill in some blanks if needed. So I'm really furious about a couple of things, and maybe it's just because of my upbringing. And when I say upbringing, I don't mean from my own parents. They did an awesome job. But I mean about my upbringing in politics. So I learned really quick from some of the 2 most senior people. We may have disagreements with them, but when I came up as a councilman, I learned under the Mayor Mola, who taught you just about everything and what it's all about. It's not always personal, it's just politics. And of course, Jack McLaughlin, 2 very senior people who served on this council. So it's my understanding that the rec director, although the advisory committee gave it its blessing, who feels like they're just a board in no man's land, from what many of them tell me, we are now you're going to get presented to the council to redo all the parks in one time. So we're not going to try to get any, try to go 1 park a year or 2 parks a year. Mayor, is that true?
There was some discussion about trying to wait for open space money, even though it's less and less each year, but it would be practical to wait for it. But from what I understand, the park for this year is in motion, for next year is in motion, according to the grant. It's the following year we'd be waiting for, which would be, I guess, 18, that we cannot wait for because of the condition of that park.
Well, I don't know what your stance is. I had heard from some of the members that you're in favor of doing all 4 parks at one time, and the comments were made, and not directly by you.
Can I correct you?
Sure, please.
I didn't say...
I'm asking you.
I, as the liaison, I don't make no comments to that whatsoever.
You didn't comment at the meeting that you would be in favor
There
of
were,
that?
no,
I'm just asking.
never.
I wasn't there, so you
No,
won't trust me.
it's not my job to weigh in and possibly change somebody's mind there. I'm there just to collect information. Go ahead, Mr.
No,
Conboy.
I appreciate it. That's why I said you would, fill in the blanks, if everything I was told is true. What gets me about all that is, and some comments were made, well, now the trust is more healthy than it's ever been. When I first took office, the trust was pretty healthy. I want to say it was north around $800 and some odd thousand at the time. And when I came in on as liaison to the council, as liaison also to recreation, due to my background dealing with youth and running programs and so forth, I presented something very similar. Not only was I chastised by the governing body, I was also chastised by members of the Republican Club that how could I be so irresponsible to try to spend that kind of money in that kind of way, not to do all the parks. We should continue to do a park at a time or 2 parks at a time. And even though the county money is drying up, which is what we warned everybody about three and a half years ago. 3.5 years ago, I still sat up there, and one of my colleagues, Councilman Patagano, didn't even vote for open space money to finish Cherry Hill Park. Cherry Hill Park should have been done almost 2.5, 3 years ago. It was on track to be finished. And then it all got stuck up in this whole thing with Mr. Patagano about a recreation advisory board who feel they're all in lost land because they don't get information timely. Then they get asked to vote on things so they don't really know all the details that's going on. He votes against money. He tells the public that there's drugs in Cherry Hill. To this day, you check with Chief Foligno, still no drugs ever turned in by Mr. Patagano. He said he confiscated them and picked them up. Still no drugs. And now he sits on the board that the Republicans put him on, and he now wants to, he's now in favor of doing all the parks at one time. And when I presented something like that, and I learned, and I finally said, you know, geez. Now the mayor and I, as you all know, for the last year and a half have been at odds with different things. Again, at odds about politics and about things for the town, not personal. But I remember him telling me, Tom, come on, what are you thinking about? You're going to replace all the towns at one time, all the parks at one time? That means that every 4 years we're going to do every park. What if the trust doesn't have all the money? What if this? What if that? You know, all these other factors that go into it. What happens when you don't have it anymore? What about the rainy day? What if, God forbid, something happens at the rec building? A wall collapses, and now we don't have any money. We have to go out and bond and do this and do all those other things. At the time, and then even Jack McLaughlin, at the time served as a Democrat, grabbed me on the side too. Hey, Tommy, you got to be smart. Then when I attended my first open space meeting, as you guys all know, some of you have sat on that before, I noticed there was only about maybe 16 towns. Out of what? In Bergen County, we're at 70 towns, right? There was only about 16 that even applied for open space money. Some years it's even less. And I was with both Jack and the mayor, and they said, see, this is what we're trying to tell you. We can come here to get money because we have money. If we deplete those funds, we won't have it. And so to do all the parks all in one shot, hey, listen, you know, I understand we have a cash cow. Those aren't my words. Those are words you heard at a rec meeting. I heard at a rec meeting. We have a cash cow. The aftercare program is doing so well. When I served on council, I wasn't a big fan about it. We took money out of the trust twice to help bring down taxes. 2 years ago, we brought down taxes down to zero. We had money. It all been taken. Last year, even though I asked all of you, those that were serving at the time, about you have a surplus, why not bring it in at zero again? Councilman Dombrowski, correct me if I'm wrong, or Mayor, if he may answer. He was adamant about bringing it in at zero. And why does it only come in zero every 4 years? You know, if we have so much money in the rec trust, and we're becoming, I think you heard some comments, Mayor, I could be wrong. Some of the advisory board members mentioned how are we a rec or are we an aftercare facility? If that's the case, take the money, bond some, and go build an aftercare facility. And call it the Elmwood Park Aftercare Facility. If we've got that kind of money in there, why aren't we reducing the fees for the children that currently pay money to be part of the rec programs? Why don't we reduce the membership? Why don't we build on to the rec that we currently have? If we have space issues and so forth, I mean, look at yourselves. You're currently in litigation for getting, the town's in litigation if it's still ongoing, about getting sued for with soccer by kids. We're paying officials to coach soccer because we can't find coaches. Why is that? I have no problem finding coaches all the time. I don't understand. So now all of a sudden we're going to look at all these other things, and I'm going to end with this. I'm going to be on this for a while. Not tonight. I get my 15 minutes the mayor granted me. Even with the whole thing with Prospect Park. You know, is our house that good inside that we have no problems? We're developing new programs all the time for this growing population of the children in this town. I mean, we're going to go off-site, and we're going to run recreation, which I understand, from what I'm being told by some of the members of the advisory board, we have to pay the town of Prospect 20 grand a year, or whatever the requirement may be, to use their facility to help, because they can't facilitate their own aftercare. We're going to pay to use their facility to do their aftercare for them? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys can figure it all out. That's what you've been elected for. So, but I just think there's a lot of problems there that you guys should look into. And this whole thing with the parks, I just don't get it. I don't, it's a change that much. And if there's so much great money in there, which I understand it's a couple of $100,000, right, Mr. Clerk through the mayor, Mr. Administrator, you know, then there must be other ways the people here in Elmwood Park can benefit from that money.
Mayor, that's the 10-minute mark, just so you're
So,
aware.
he said 15, you heard him say it.
I did.
Are you yielding to your 5 minutes, Tom?
Just give me another second. So that's just me. And you know me, I'm not here to yell and scream and everything. It's just that I'm very passionate about it because I have been in that chair over there and I understand it. And maybe that was the old way, you know. So I don't know. I just don't understand how we're just going to deplete it. And then what if something happens, especially since the county is now saying they have less money all the time. So the other thing is, Keith, congratulations. 3 great people. Any one of them could have been picked. But nice job. Since I know I brought you in, and I brought
Yeah, yes, you
Lucas,
did.
so I still got 2 up there.
Thank you, Tom.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Conboy. Anybody else
Mayor,
wish to speak?
through you, can I just make a couple comments?
I'm sorry?
May I just make a couple comments?
Yes, please.
To Mr. Conboy's points. Tom, just so we have some clarity for the public's edification, we currently have 2 open space grants where the projects are still ongoing. One is for Cherry Hill, the other is for Birchwood. As part of those grant agreements with the county, we had to pre-commit that we would make up the difference in the project cost regardless of what the county awarded Elmwood Park for either of those 2 projects. So those 2 allocations have already been committed to by previous councils to make up the delta so that we can complete those projects. That being said, prior to the last Rec Advisory Board meeting, which I believe occurred a week ago this past Monday, the rec director had come to my office and talked to me about whether or not I thought it would be wise for the Rec Advisory Board to put together a committee that would put together a 5-year capital improvement plan for the parks, inclusive of the 2 pending grant applications, and then subsequently, I think there's an effort afoot to try to do some work at Guelph Park. I have not followed up with Donna due to the holiday and the fact that she's been out sick for part of this week, but as far as I'm concerned and as far as I'm aware, that's the sequence of events as far as affecting the different parks in town. And as I understand it, at the advisory board meeting last Monday, they put together a committee specifically to put together the skeleton of what this 5-year plan would look like. So just so you have some clarification, as far as I'm aware, that's the process moving forward.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, could I respond?
Yes, please.
I don't doubt a word you say, Keith. I've been at some of these work meetings. If you guys remember, those that were on council at the time, a few months back, when this whole started coming up about the county not having enough, if you remember, I had my 1 minute, I advocated that the council then commit to finish these parks. It's just like the hockey rink. That's not done yet either. That was part, when we were all there together, that's how long, listen, Lou's sons have wanted an ice rink for a long time in English Ave. They're both now in both 2 branches of our armed forces and probably having kids in the next 5 years on their own, so. But I understand about the money. I do want more grandchildren, Councilman. So I understand, I was a part of it. I've been at these meetings. Like I said, I advocated that the council then should commit now to finish these parks, which just makes it so more frustrating. Because at the time, about the open space money, we had to, at the time, Councilman Patagano, when we were voting for Cherry Hill, if you recall, he voted no. And I said publicly, how could you vote against free money? Dollar for dollar, okay? The county, if we want to give out 30, put up 30, and the county wants to give us 30, that's 30 plus, right? That's good government. I would think even the mayor would agree.
Absolutely.
So that's my issue.
I just wanted it to be clear what we're committed to already, and what, as I understand it, the Rec Advisory Board, and to some degree this council, although obviously a formal plan needs to be put in place, what they're looking to do prospectively.
Again, I was not at the rec meeting Monday night. That's why if you recall, I said to the mayor, please correct me if I'm wrong. Again, to my knowledge of the handful of rec advisors who called me, they didn't know that that they were going to be voting on Monday to now vote to redo all the parks. So I believe they were, it may have popped up on the agenda last minute, but I don't know about all this planning you're talking about, because it sounds kind of, but I could be wrong. I will let myself be corrected if that's so. Thank you.
Just for the record, Mr. Convoy went over 2 minutes. Next time he comes up, he'll only get 8 minutes.
You're allowed to be good.
Mayor, if I may, through you, please?
Yes, please.
I was at that, the recreation meeting, and as Mr. Kazmark mentioned, they did put together a 3-person committee with 1 alternate that will be putting together a 5-year plan that will then take a look at all the parks. The issue that's happening at Gall Avenue, as why it came up in that meeting on Monday, is because there's a specific piece of equipment there that needs to be replaced immediately due to safety issues for the children, and that was basically, that was all that was really brought up. So I just wanted to clarify that, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Bramley. Mr. Chewinski?
Rich Chowinski, 42 Walnut Street. Mayor and Council, I wasn't going to speak on the record, just a brief note on that. Maybe it's time to look at some of the fees there with this board. If we're taking that kind of money, that you can reduce it to the residents, might be a plus for some people. On the library front, Lou, I'd like to thank Councilman Lou Boncino, who spearheaded that meeting about a month ago, was it, Lou? I think it was, back then, to get the library in the right direction finally. We are moving ahead. Our library director has set up a meeting with some state agencies for technology, which we just got a notice today, will be December 10th. Tomorrow morning, we will be digging for the test pits for the drainage issues over there. Finally got to it, but the rain held us off a little bit. But we are starting to move ahead now, finally. And it's been open communication since the last month. All the emails are going to everybody. I'm sure you people should be in the loop now. I advise the library director to put you in the loop. All right. Thank you.
Rich, we didn't get the soil test yet?
So, well, we were supposed to do it Tuesday, but Scott called it off because of the rain.
With the rain.
And he was rightfully so we'll be doing it tomorrow morning, 7:30.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
Water table's been
Yes.
high.
Will? Yeah. Come, George.
Where's faster?
Age before beauty. You're still good-looking, George.
George Nestori, 2 Sabo Court. Congratulations, Keith,
Thank you, George.
and I know you got the best intentions for the town. I'd like to just, in fact, I should congratulate you for being picked for the mayor,
Thank you.
and good luck. I just have a question. Do we have an ordinance in town? I thought we did develop it way back on these signs that are all over town, sometimes plastered on the telephone pole. And they're, now political signs are still up. I think they should be down by now.
We should.
And, but there's signs like, we buy houses cash, all that stuff, It really minimizes the town. Is there any ordinance that we had? I thought we had an ordinance, didn't we, Frank, a while back?
Mr.
The majority of Bozo was involved?
I think so, yeah.
Mr. Story, please direct your questions to me, and then I'll,
Okay.
thank you. Mr. Kazmark, could you elaborate on that ordinance?
As far, really, the signs that are on PSE&G poles are regulated by PSE&G. They're really not permitted. What we can do, and we've done it in the past, is we've had our inspectors from the building department, in combination with the DPW staff, go over throughout town, do a once-over to remove all of those, and then try to put people on notice that, they shouldn't be doing that. Garage sale season, that type of thing, it becomes a little bit more difficult when you're dealing with residents, but we can certainly ask the building department and the public works department to do that again.
All right.
Would you still like Mr. Caramagna to comment on that?
That's okay. You answer for it. Did a good job.
Go ahead, George, continue.
Okay. That's it.
Thank you, George.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, George. Stay well.
It's hard at this age.
You're a young chicken, come on.
Will Manili, 221 Washington Ave. I just want to start off by congratulating Keith. I just wanted to thank Councilman Boncino, Chirdo, and Councilwoman John Domenico, because they really did a thorough interview and definitely did their due diligence in this process. So thank you for that. And Keith's been here before, very active in town. Everybody knows Keith. He's going to do a bang-up job, I'm sure. So, congratulations again. And I just also wanted to comment that the streetscape on Market Street, in my opinion, looks outstanding. And with the benches and everything, I think it really brings something different over there. And hopefully, stuff like that will attract more business because, when you bring more businesses in, I believe that the taxes from the businesses that they generate can alleviate the taxes on the residents, and the planning board meetings have been canceled month after month, and I think part of that is due to the fact that we have the continuing CO now, which I was much in favor of. But, hopefully we can just keep moving forward and bring good businesses into town, so. But congratulations, Keith, and
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody else.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Anybody else care to speak? All right, before I close the public portion, I'd just like to say, I didn't get it in before, about the two other candidates, Will and Miles. Extraordinary people, good backgrounds, and it made it very, very tough for our party and our council people to come up with a decision like that. And I guess that's good when you have that good of a crop of people that you have to choose from. But I know it was difficult, and let's move forward. Yes.
I just want to say.
Yes, yes.
I've been thanking everybody, and I forgot to thank the most important person in my life. She's sitting in the back, my wonderful wife. I don't know how she puts up with me. I'm never home. My dinners are there sitting, waiting on the table. I don't get to eat probably till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. But at least she knows where to find me, now in the municipal building and Borough Field. Now, well, that's where I'll be.
Well, Keith, I
but
guess,
thank you.
I guess you're off the couch now. Okay, with that, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Caramagna and Dombrowski, all in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone.
You know,